Hello everybody and welcome back to ERL. 2 weeks ago we were racing in the lovely streets of Azerbaijan, where Kimira was able to take the championship lead off of Bartek Fraz, who is now second, only 3 points behind. And of course Bartek Fraz in the Williams, he's going to be looking to win that championship lead back today. This is round 5, we are in Barcelona. And I am Bradley, or Anti Beacon, whatever you fancy calling me. And of course we are ready for the long run tonight. So we've only got 4.5 minutes left in this qualifying session, and currently Kimira is on top form. But Bartek Fraz is starting his hot lap on the mediums a lot earlier than other people and puts himself onto provisional pole by only half a second. So Kimira has only got to improve by half a second to get this pole position. But then of course you have drivers like Marvin, Viper and Clenzo. If they can improve on this lap. Clenzo's on a hot lap now, I think. Oh no, he's 1.5 seconds down, so he's going to go for another flying lap, I think. And Ross goes up into P5 in the Mercedes. And then Marvin has just finished his lap, I believe. He's just finished his lap and didn't improve. And now Charger, I learned how to pronounce that and I've forgotten. Slightly annoying, has gone P2, 3 tenths behind Bartek Fraz. So Kimira now coming through turn 13 and 14, well 14 and 15 or whatever you really want to call it, now turn 16, and is going to be winding up to start this lap early on the DRS just as you cross that white line, and then you climb up through the gears, reaching near enough the top speed by the end of the straight. You want to use a fair amount of ERS just to gain all that time. Then quick deceleration. Kimira wasn't as wide as some other drivers through the first corner, which probably bodes well. Now coming through into turn 4, early on the throttle. Got a lot of grip in that Racing Point car. And turn 5 now. Very neat, hugging that apex nicely and going out a bit wide on the exit. That's what you want to do, is carry as much speed as possible. We have a yellow flag out on track in sector 2, so that might get in the way potentially. Viper's gone faster, so Viper, ERL Viper has beaten Bartek Fraz and will be starting ahead. MAR7 Barca as well has gone up into P3, and that is, I think that was ERL Undead or K-Bar. It was one of the Alfa Romeo cars off the track getting out the way for Kimira here. And that was Dr. Vader going up into P3. Really good lap there. And this little bit untidy in the final sector here from Kimira, and potentially lost a little bit of time, but will he lose pole as well? No he does not, and he goes on pole position by half a tenth of a second. Now I think BMG Clenzo is the highest guy who's on a hot lap. No, he's not. I think he might be gearing up to do another lap here, so we'll stick on board with BMG Clenzo, currently highest of the hard runners, but down in P11. And now another guy's got up. Who was that? Who's just putting a really good lap. Most Ronin and Antoine as well. Both going ahead of Dr. Vader. Really good laps there. So BMG Clenzo starts his flying lap. I think this is his second attempt on the medium tyres. Heavy braking down into turn 1. Nice and neat. Really aggressive from Clenzo so far, but ooh, the suspension not quite handling that curve very nicely, and just losing the rear end a little bit. Renault driver not looking ridiculously comfortable in that car for the moment. Now coming down into turn 5. Sandbird corner, as Will Buxton will call it. And you might often hear me refer to it in the course of tonight. Clenzo, big lift through turn 9 there. Let's see what his sector splits up. He's 4 tenths up, so this lap's going to put him on a 0.3 at the moment, and this is a real traction sector. This last bit, ooh, just hitting the curb on turn 11 there. And that's really easy to do, and I know for a fact it's very easy to do because I myself have done that quite a few times. And Dopex is disconnected again, so that's a real shame. He's not going to set a lap time. But let's see where Clenzo goes. He crosses the line now, and he moves. Oh, he's given up on the lap. He has aborted the lap, and he's just going to settle. He is settling for starting near the back in that free choice of tyre. Who's just gone up? I think that was Raisins putting a good lap there. And who else is? Antmaz is putting a really good lap. Icety's putting a really good lap up in P3 in the McLaren. Fantastic lap for him. And only 0.08 of a second behind first. And that is qualifying over for round 5. So, let's give a quick rundown of the grid. Everyone in the top 10 will be starting on the medium tyre. So Key Mirror takes pole in the racing point car by 0.5 of a second ahead of Viper. Then it's Ice-T in third in the McLaren. In the fourth is Williams of Bartek Fraz. Iro Antsmaz and Most Ronin are on the third row. Fourth row is Antoine and Dr. Vader, who I originally thought put in a brilliant lap, but just fell down the order a little bit. MAR7 Barca and Chaza, I remembered that, Chaja, is 9th and 10th. 11th is Raisin, 12th is Marvin, 13th is Kavar, 14th is Ross, 15th is Clenzo on those hards, and the bottom ones, well, we'll see that one in just a second, once they get up onto the grid. So, and I think a couple of guys are disconnected, looking at so 3, 6, 9, 12... Yeah, I think maybe 1 or 2 guys have disconnected. I'm not too sure. But nonetheless, we will be getting underway very shortly. I don't know if we're doing a little bit of a delay between... So a little bit of a gap between qualifying and the race. So this is a good time to do a little rundown of the drivers' standings at the moment. Kima is on 82 points ahead of Bartek Fraz, who's on 79. And then it's close in third and fourth between Viper and Hyde. They're only 4 points apart. Then it's really close between Ice-T, Most Ronin, Marvin, MAR7 Barca, Kavar. Really close. Very close between Kavar, Clenzo and Ross as well. And then looking down the grid, you have Dr. Vader in 12th on the standings, and Dopex is 13th. And then the rest of the guys are below 10 points, so they're not really massive championship challenges at the moment. And yeah. So just wait for the first guys to ready up once we're ready to go. Racing Point lead the team standings at the moment. They're on 98 points. They have a 17-point lead ahead of Williams. So those guys will be hoping to get a good race in today and catch up. While I quickly sort something out on my computer. So I can't quite remember how many laps it is in this race, but it's a fairly high tyre deg track, so we could be seeing potentially, if any of the drivers qualified on the softs, they'd definitely be doing a 2-stop. But everybody did get laps in on the mediums in the top 10, so they'll be looking to go medium to hards. And then maybe the guys outside the top 10 will be doing the reverse. They'll be going from the hards to the medium tyres. So it'll be interesting to see which strategy turns out the fastest. So I think Dopex is not in the lobby, so unfortunately he will not be able to race by the looks of it. So that's a real shame for himself. He's, where's he in the standings, if we just have a look? Oh, he's 13th in the standings. He's in a bit of a battle with the bottom half, so he'll be quite upset, I assume, of missing this. But unfortunately, sometimes you do get issues with the game, and there's nothing you can do about it. So that's a real shame for himself. Right, so, yep, everyone has now ready up and the formation lap is underway. So, hop on board with this formation lap, I'll just get all of this information up. So, there's only two guys who've decided to start on that hard tyre, and that's Ross and Clenzo down in 40. Which means that drivers such as Fons and Undead and Dopex, who I don't... He's not... Yeah, he's in the pits, so he will not be racing. They'll be hoping to potentially get past Clenzo and Ross pretty quickly. That's what they'll be looking to do, make the most out of those tyres and try to get a good start. So while we know what all these tyres are, I'm going to quickly put it on position change just for the first lap so we can see who's really made the most out of these first couple of corners. And it's really important that you get a good start at a track like this. There's not many places to overtake, so if you end up losing loads of places before turn 1, you maybe won't be able to regain those positions. And that's the thing, if we see drivers spinning this week, it's not going to be like other races where they can just climb their way through the grid. It's a lot harder here. And it's a lot more difficult to overtake as well, and this is a really good shot when you have all the drivers weaving down the weaving down the back straight here. Going down into turn 10, sort of a hairpin. Very hairpin-like corner. Easy to run deep, and that's definitely an overtaking zone for today, so all the drivers will be looking to defend into that corner if need be. So actually, I think, yeah, Key Mirror's quite a bit ahead here. This formation up or behind. Yeah, he's quite far ahead of Viper. So Viper maybe making the most out of trying to get a bit of a gap to Key Mirror. Try to make his tyres a little bit cooler while he's waiting on the grid. Cool them down a little bit, which will give him a bit less grip as well. So Viper will have the inside line into turn 1 as well. So if he can get a good start, he should be in pretty good shape. So we'll be going off board for the start. We'll just quickly flick back to Icy to see who's got the better jump. But for now, we'll go off board. Actually, I want to get a good shot of the front drivers, if that's not going to... Ah, there we go. So, it's 3, 4, 5 lights, and we are go. And who's got a good start? Viper's got a very good start indeed, and he's on the inside, and is he already going to be ahead of Key Mirror by the time we reach turn 1? No, not quite, but he is going to have the inside line. Brakes later. Holds that line, locks up the front right a little bit, and they are side by side going through turn 1, turn 2, and now turn 3, and that's Bartek Fraz. He's made a place on Icy. He was looking down the inside there for just a second, but now Viper under pressure from Key Mirror after gaining the lead early on here. Is Key Mirror going to get cut back? No, he actually ends up running out wide, and that allows Bartek Fraz down the inside. He's going to think about dive bomb into turn 5. No, he's not. Not this time around, at least. So who's made the most places? Fons has made up 3 places. Dr. Vader's made up 3 places. He's up into P5. And there's been a lot of movement early on in the race. Ross has lost 2 places. So that's not good for him at all. And now everybody, apart from 1 or 2 drivers now, have actually moved position. And Bartek Fraz, he's a bit wide on the exit there. Coming now down into, I think it's turn 9, turn 10 even. And, just looking around the grid now, Viper potentially starting to stretch that lead ahead of Key Mirror. That's what he'll be wanting to do at least. Icy now pressuring Bartek Fraz in the Williams. Only 4 tenths between them. Flattered the curb a little bit there. Lose a little bit of grip on the exit. So most Ronin is into the pits. Ronin pits on that one, and that is Dr. Vader now, making up 4 places, and he's just overtaken Icy down the main straight and is now looking to pressure Bartek Fraz. Icy not got great pace at the moment. He'll be looking to, I don't know whether he's just not got any grip, not got the temperature in the tyres that he wants. We'll have to see as the race goes on. So most Ronin, he is exiting the pits now. Not ideal. Affects obviously him. So Key Mirror 7 tenths behind Viper, so those two are staying pretty close. They are gapping a bit to Bartek Fraz, who's just fallen out of DRS now. Is he potentially... Yeah, he's just dropped back in it there, so if he can stay within a second, he will have DRS this time next lap. Just got got to keep up for a couple more corners. That's all he's got to do. But Dr. Vader is just about just about a second behind, and I think he might have DRS on Bartek, which means we might see a bit of gapping start to happen. That's potentially going to be a warning for a corner cut there for Vader. Kimura sets the fastest lap of the race while chasing Viper in front. So Marvin is right, well, he was about to say right behind. Now he's ahead of the Red Bull driver. And so Marvin in the Ferrari makes up position. He moves up into P9. He's went up 3 places this race already. So but we're going to go back to the tyres now to have a look at that. So back out front, Kimura 6/10 behind Viper. So it's very, very close now. There's actually a bit of a train forming, I think, behind Antsmaz probably. But he's sort of there as well. So actually really behind I think Bartek Fraz, we could say, starts this train. Every single driver behind him within 1 second of the car in front. Of course, apart from Most Ronin, who had to pit. So it's really close on track at the moment. Trying to get a good off-board shot. That's Ross. We don't want to be that far down the grid. Let's have a look on Antsmaz. So he is sort of separating the train at the moment, but he's very small gap to Ice-T in front, McLaren driver. So out front, Kimura is right behind Viper now. He is really close. It went down to 0.2 of a second for a moment there. So it's really close between these two. Let's see what they're going to be able to hopefully put on a really good battle. That'd be good to see. So, Kimura still only half a second behind Viper. Now he's going to get DRS, he's going to get the slipstream, and I've already gapped 2 seconds now to Bartek Fraz, and now behind Bartek Fraz actually, you have a bit of a gap behind Marvin, and a bit of a gap behind Raisin as well, so this train is starting to split apart slightly, but Kimura, he's got the run coming down the main straight here. He's not going to be able to make the move though, not this lap at least. If he can get a good run through turn 2 and turn 3 here, he might be able to sort of sling his way down this really short straight. And MAR7 Barca getting a 3-second time penalty only on lap 5 here, so that's not going to put himself in a brilliant position for the rest of this race. So Raisin's right on the back of his teammate here, and I think he's going to be wanting to break into the top 10. But back out front, Kimura, he's looking down the main straight again. I think he's a little bit too far. Actually, he's got a really good run on the exit here. He might be very, very close to Viper. He might be alongside here. No, not quite. Going down into turn 1. I think he potentially thought about it halfway down that straight. He probably thought he might be able to get alongside, but not quite. Marvin overtakes his teammate, MAR7 Barca, relegating him down into P9. Still Viper under pressure. Is he saving? Oh, he's quite low on ERS actually. Viper could be in trouble here. He is low on ERS, and you can see Chimera, he's saved it really well. He's on 9, and I think on the main straight he's going to have the chance to potentially get this move done now. If, of course, Viper's having saved all of this ERS, he's having probably saved fuel as well. I'm not sure on that one. I can't see his fuel. On lap 63, so still a long way to go for these drivers, and let's see if Chimera is going to be able to make the move now, going down into turn 1. I think he's going to be too far back. However, Viper just about has enough ERS to keep himself going for this straight. Just about. This is interesting between the pair. These two first and third in the championship standings at the moment. Of course, Chimera is the leader, beating ERL Viper. Not in this race, however. Viper is, as you can quite clearly see, ahead of Chimera. So let's see what Viper's ERS is like. It's in, well, about 30%. So I think that's going to be, it's enough to drag him down the straight, but that's about it. Ooh, but actually Chimera making a little bit of a mistake. Really small mistake going through turn 12. Not going to affect him too much, but it's not ideal. He's lost a little bit of time. He nearly dropped out DRS then, 0.9. So actually, probably did lose quite a bit of time doing that. So Viper's not able to go into a long battle because he will lose the RS. He will run out before Chimera does. So Viper will just be hoping to pull away through the corners, use the dirty air to his advantage. Of course, he'll be getting a little bit more downforce than Chimera is. But I think it's worth looking at this train behind Antoine. 3 cars very closely following. Just worth having a look at this little scrap. But Chimera now 3 tenths off. He is very, very close. If he can just get this sector right this time round, that's a little bit better. You can see he was hesitant, so he knew he made that mistake last time. He was just a little bit more cautious this time round, and he is 3 tenths closer this lap. So, and I think, you know what, this is the closest he's been for a while. So if he can get this exit right, well, I don't know, I think that gap is a little bit too much, 7.5 tenths. I think he just lost a little bit too much time through the final sector. Maybe his tyres are starting to be hurt a little bit by the dirty air that he is stuck in at the moment, but I don't think he's definitely not going to be close enough for a move into turn 1. Let's look off board here with the 2 Ferraris, Ant Smaz and Antoine, all battling going down into turn 1 here. Train of 4 cars. And that's just running wide in the background, having R7 Barca running a little bit wide. Of course, he's getting a lot of dirty air. All of those 3 cars in front of him just punching a hole. Keep, of course, an eye on that gap out front as well. So 2 Red Bulls are now starting to catch up by the looks of it to this little battle as well, which should make it a little bit more interesting. But we're going to go on board with Chimera as he's now coming through the final corner, chasing Viper still, but still 7.5 tenths back. It's the same every lap. He's 7.5 tenths off, which is close, but not close enough. Just not quite where he wants to be. He'll be hoping Viper maybe needs to start saving fuel or ERS elsewhere on the track. and he can just take an advantage there. I think that's his only real chance at the moment. So it must be noticed Clenzo on the back of a bit of a queue. Oh, there's a yellow flag out on track. Who's that for? No one dropped down, so I don't know what. Not quite sure what happened there. But this MAR7 Barca's fallen a bit back on Marvin, so we'll hop on board with Marvin now, coming down the straight, see what he's able to do. Potentially think of a move on Antsmaz, but Antsmaz has DRS as well, so I don't think he's going to be able to. No, not quite. This straight's not long enough to get a move done. Bartek Fraz, Dr. Vader and iSteel within a second of each other. Having a good battle, but now down the main straight again, Chimera and Viper. And again, Chimera close, but not close enough. Every lap at the moment. It's close, but just not quite what he wants. Actually, sort of missed the apex of turn 2 there. That was, it's not put him in a great position now down this straight, but again, it's not going to affect him massively. So Dr. Vader now really, really close to the back of Bartek Fraz, half a second in it. And Marvin and MAR7 Barca, they've closed in a little bit again, which is good to see. Of course, one of the easier tracks to defend at, one of the harder tracks to overtake at, means that Antoine could be in a good position now for the rest of, maybe even for the rest of this race. He's just got to be careful of the undercut from the guys behind. That won't be for another, at the very least, couple of laps. I think we're looking at pit stops of around lap 15 or so. Somewhere near there, lap 14, 13, 14, 15. I think from memory. So we could see a couple of guys starting to think about coming in a couple of... Oh, bit of contact there between Marvin. Oh, and look at... Oh, the one time I miss it, you have these two battling out front. Chimera was momentarily ahead, and now Dr. Vader's got past as well. Past Bartek Fraz. And that is a one lap I don't go on board. It's a one lap where Chimera got enough alongside. He was able to be ahead just for a moment. Just for one short moment he was winning this race. And I'm sure he wants to get that back again. Hopefully next time he'll be able to hold it for a little bit longer. So 4 tenths. And I think now, yeah, look at that. Viper, he's run out of ERS a little bit more. He's potentially starting to derate at the end of the straight now. So we're going to stick on board with these two. Going through the really fast 11-12 corner. Turn 11 and 12. Turn 13 now. Turn 14 and 15. Relatively slow chicane given the rest of the track. And let's see. Chimera, 5 tenths off. Oh, and Viper is into the pits. Viper, he blinks first. He comes into the pits in the Toro Rosso. He's going to be putting on those hard tyres. And that makes it now a Force India Racing Point even, should I say. Racing Point 1, 2. So other guys are coming into the pits as well. Viper, Bartek Fraz, Antoine. Who's that as well? Fons is also pitting. It's his last ever race, and he is not having a brilliant race at the moment, but I think he's potentially going to be trying to make that a little bit better in this second stint now. We'll be talking to him at the end of the race. So, BMG Clenzo, this puts him... Oh, Ross has got past BMG Clenzo. These two really close on track, and they're actually still battling. Clenzo trying to go around the outside, and there's a lock-up from Ross there. He locked up his front left, and surely Clenzo's not going to go side by side. No, of course he's not. That would be rather silly, I'd say. So we're over a third of the way into the race. We're approaching the halfway mark soon. So Ice-T and Key Mirror, they've both pitted, so they went first and third. So let's see if we'll go on board with Bartek Fra. Oh no, not Bartek Fra, sorry. Viper, where's he? He's right behind Cleanso. Okay, so he's actually come out in clean air, so he's not going to be losing a lot of time. In fact, he's going to be able to do this lap as quick as possible, uninterrupted by other cars. But let's see if he does come out ahead. I think that's Key Mirror in front of him, and I don't think, yeah, Key Mirror has actually extended his lead here. So I don't think, obviously those cold tyres, when you come out onto these hards, they're cold, you don't have the grip. So maybe Viper here, he's going to be able to think about getting past Key Mirror. It depends though. Actually, I think Viper may have made a mistake. That's what it's looking like now, because Key Mirror looks to already have grip. He's just come out and he's driving like normal. So I think Viper's made a mistake on his lap that's cost him somewhere, and he's now lost the race lead. Of course, it's net race lead at the moment, but Cleanso and Ross, they need to pit, and they're only about a second ahead of Key Mirror at the moment. So these two guys in front, they still need to pit. Of course, those two still battling. I think Cleanso getting a little bit frustrated behind the Mercedes. He looks to be making a lot of moves down the straight. And Dr. Vader comes into the pits as Cleanso, I think, nearly hit the back of Ross there. And they're cutting that. They're cutting the second part of that chicane. So I think that's probably saying something to look out for. Guys doing that can get away without getting a warning there. So Dr. Vader comes into the pits. Let's see where he comes out. He's probably going to be behind Bartek Fraz by the looks of it. This could be close, actually. It could be side by side coming down to turn one. No, Bartek Fraz is just ahead. But we've gone board with, where's my little cursor thing? There it is. So Cleanso on the back of Ross. They're still going at it. And also Key Mirror is on the back of those two. And of course there's no blue flags at the moment, so this is for race position. I know Cleanso is probably not going to be able to, well, he's not going to let that position go. He's not going to let Key Mirror past, I don't think, because I've raced him personally quite a bit, and I would say he's one to hop out of the way. Okay, of course, he's also trying to overtake Ross, so this is a bit of a dive bomb here from Key Mirror, and Cleanso does leave room on the inside, so of course he's not going to necessarily let him pass, but he's also not going to cause a crash in the process. So this has really helped Viper, because if he could get past Cleanso on this main straight now, and he's right on the back of Key Mirror, he's in DRS again. And Marvin pits, so Marvin's going to drop down the order here. I think he'll be behind Bartek Fraz and Dr. Vader and Ice-T, those sort of drivers. He'll be behind all of those. He was near his teammate MAR7 Barca, so if he can come out somewhere near his teammate, that would be good. Maybe he's been able to jump one or two. Yeah, he has actually. He's jumped one or... Oh no, actually I think yeah, I think Chaja, I can't say his name, has overtaken them actually, and that's Ross getting, Ross letting Key Mirror pass there, and that's how Key Mirror, yes, he is at the front of the queue now. So Key Mirror retakes the race lead, and he's got Cleanso and Ross as a bit of cover now. Viper wasn't able to get past, unfortunately, so that's going to really hinder him, because he's got to get past Cleanso, and he's got to get past Ross as quickly as possible, because Key Mirror is just going to extend this lead. Key Mirror is going to be able to pull away, and he's not going to be under pressure from Ross and Cleanso, because generally they're not quite as fast, and they're on just on more worn tyres as well. So Key Mirror as well, so that's the fastest lap of the race, so well, really, what can you say? He's looking Viper to make a move, trying to put Cleanso off going into turn one there. A little bit of weaving on the straight. He's not defending from anyone either. That's the joy that Viper has here. He can just look forward. Cleanso's looking, well, he's also looking to overtake, of course, Ross, but he's also looking behind him. So he's got two things to do, and he's actually run a little bit wide there. Is this going to allow Viper to maybe make a move, dive down the inside, come into turn 5? He does, he goes for it. And, I think he's downshifted one too many gears there, lost the rear end, and there's a little bit of contact between himself and Clenzo, but Clenzo drops down now into 4th place. Viper had to make that move, and it was a little bit ambitious, but I think he just about got away with that one. Lost the rear end, he was carrying maybe a little bit too much speed into the corner, which just unsettled the car, and he nearly went for a bit of a half spin there, which would have been, I think, the worst thing that could happen to him this race. As you can see, Kimura already pulled out about 2.5 seconds to Viper, and it's only been a lap he's been behind, so expect another Kimura fastest lap here. And that is Ross just completely abandoning the second half of that chicane. And of course Kimura says fastest lap of the race, that's not much of a surprise at all. But Viper is going to get the overtake done on Ross on the Mercedes. Fairly easily, and he makes a move before we even enter turn 1. So Ants, Maz and Marvin as well, those two are battling. Marvin gets up into P9. And now as Viper running a little bit wide, but I think he has got away with that obviously. Clenzo's still on the back of Ross here, and Dr. Vader and Bartek Fraz, those two are racing each other. They're pretty close at the moment, but not making the move yet. So we'll hover forward them since there's not many overtaking points until we get down into turn 10. That sort of hairpin. Don't think it's quite a hairpin, but it is close enough. So Clenzo looking like he has more grip than Ross. He actually looks like he is quicker. He just can't get past at the moment. And of course the front runners sort of slowing him down a little bit has ruined this battle for a couple of laps. But those two are, and they're both just abandoning the second half of the chicane. And now, so Ross comes into the pits and Clenzo is staying out for another lap. He's going to go for the overcut. And this lap Clenzo is going to push like mad. He has got to push as hard as he can and potentially get the overcut even, and that is Dr. Vader going for the inside down into turn 1. Thought he was going to end up on the grass there, but he was able to avoid a bit of a disaster, but I think he has. But he's definitely got that position now, and Ice-T is going to be looking to get this position, but Bartek Fraz, he's not taking this sitting. He is right on the back of Vader. Is he going to dive down the inside? No, but let's see what he does into turn 5 here. This is a more realistic overtaking as there's actual braking zone. He doesn't dive for the inside line, so Dr. Vader makes up the position for this lap. And Ice-T as well, he's right in this scrap for what is effectively the battle for third once Clenzo pits. So we'll see what Clenzo, I assume Clenzo is going to pit this lap. That would be the safe guess. You can see him just ahead of Vader. Oh, and that's actually Clenzo round. So Clenzo pushing hard. He's he's I think ruined his race quite a bit there. That's a bit of a shame. I thought, oh, he's going to pit. He's going to come out. Yeah, with that spin, he's going to come out behind Kavar. He's going to be down in P15. So yeah, that's his, I think, chances of a good race pretty much over. But Ice-T, Fraz, and Vader, they're all battling. That's a big lockup from Ice-T going down into turn 1 there. Somehow he's still got a better... Oh no, he's had to lift off a lot. I think he got in the dirty air of Bartek Fraz, and he's had to back off halfway through the corner. He had a really good run though, so he'll be a bit annoyed about that. So Clenzo did pit, and as I thought, he came out behind Kavar. So Clenzo, I think, just taking it one too many laps and pushing that ounce too hard, and it did just mean that he just lost the car. And actually, I think that's Bartek Fraz. He's just hit the back of Vader there, or downshifted a bit too early. I didn't quite see what happened, but I saw him sideways and very close to the back of Vader's car. So now going down into turn 1, let's see how close Fraz is going to be, how close Ice-T is going to be. I think Ice-T's not going to be able to make the move, and I don't actually think Fraz is either. I think Dr. Vader's running quite a high low downforce setup here because he's got a lot of pace. Ross gets a 3-second time penalty and sets the fastest lap of the race in the process. So I think, by the looks of it, that was him. He got that from cutting that second part of the chicane, I think is what he got that for. So he did get a warning for doing that. We'll just hop on board with Clenso, see what, yeah, he's got a big gap, 4.6 to the car in front, so he is, yeah, his race has been a bit ruined, it's got to be said. From that pit, maybe not the best strategy in the end. It was always a bit of a gamble. But you never know, still another 13 laps to run. If their pace is good enough, they could make it up into the points pretty easily. At least Ross could. And Bartek Fraz right on the back of Dr. Vader again, so expect potentially move going down into turn 1 with the DRS with the slipstream. Gap is only 7/10, which we've seen is just about enough to think about making a move. Look, it's only 5/10 now. So I think Bartek is going to be looking to make that move going down into turn 1, but he just doesn't have the straight line speed. I think he might actually be running higher downforce. I think that might be the issue, because Ice-T looks to be closing in as well on the main straight. And he picks up a 3-second time penalty as well. That's a real shame, and that's going to pretty much ruin his chances of getting his 3rd place, I'd say, unless he can get past and pull out a 3-second lead. And while we're at it, Clenso sets the fastest lap of the race in the Renault car. He's down in P15 though. He's got a lot of time that he has got to gain just to even catch up to Ross, yet alone people like Raisin and who's really at the front of that queue. I think Marvin. That's the highest possible position that they can get, but I doubt Ross is going to be able to do that. So as we cross the line, there will be 11 laps left, which means only 1/3 of the race to go. So the last couple of laps have really flown by, actually. We're now on lap 23, meaning we've completed 22 of the 33 laps. And Ice-T is looking to make a move on Bartek Fraz. The only issue is he's got to get close enough now. And not quite able to. Bartek Fraz got really close to the back of Dr. Vader there. Out front, Chimera, 3.3 seconds to Viper. So that gap has stayed pretty steady for the last couple of laps. Clenso picks up a 3-second time penalty. I assume that was also for cutting the chicane, because he'd be around that part of the track at the moment. And Most Ronin sets the fastest lap of the race, so he's come in and pitted on to those medium tyres, and Fraz looking to make the move going down into turn 10, but not quite able to this time round. And it's actually hindered him now all the way up for his complex, but Ice-T has got on that curb and lost the rear end, which again has actually put him off as well. So this, I'm not quite sure how this main straight is going to go. I don't think Fraz is close enough to make the move on Dr. Vader, but Ice-T, I'd say, is definitely close enough to think about making this move if he just has a straight line of speed. He's got an overtake, so he's definitely going for it, but not quite able to close in enough. So really, if Vader can break DRS on Bartek, then I think Ice-T's got him pretty quickly here. So we'll just quickly go back to position change, see what's gone on in this race. So Dr. Vader's made up 5 places. Ice-T's lost 2, he started P3 of course. Marvin up 6 places, that's pretty decent actually. MAR7 Boss up 1, Amsterdam's down 4, that's a real shame. He's not having a brilliant race. Then you have Ross, he's up 2 places. Fons is up 3 places, so he's done well as well. I think Ross, though, he's going to... Actually, I think he's stopped actually closing in on Raisin, so... I don't think he's going to actually ever get that move done. Ross might only be finishing 12th here. Fons 13th, he's made up 3 places, and of course most Ronins lost 11 places, and the ERL Undead picks up a 3-second time penalty and has retired. So if we see a safety car here, that could change the race pretty dramatically, but I don't think we will be seeing one, and that is really close between Bartek, Fraz and Icy, nearly ploughing into the back of Fraz as well. That was really, really close going into turn 1. Icy braking really late, thinking he may be able to make the most out of something there. He ended up nearly taking off his front wing and hitting the Williams driver in front. And that could have been, well, that very race changing. And really firm defending from Vader as well going into turn 1. Very hard but very fair. And Most Ronin again sets the fastest lap of the race, so he is, I think, apart from somebody pitting, he is going to be collecting that. So as we go now down into turn 1 again, the long run down to turn 1, we'll see what happens again. Will we see a repeat Bartek Fraz on Dr. Vader? No, not quite, but Fraz getting very close up behind under braking. We are on lap 26 out of 33 now, so we're getting pretty close to the end. So Fraz is right on the back still here. He's closer than he normally has been on Vader through this part of the track. To be making a move, as is Icy. So this is the closest the 3 have been, separated by less than a second here. Just accidentally hit my microphone and unplugged it. I'll try not to do that again. So Fraz, he's closing and closing. Is he going to go to the inside line for turn 1? He does. Is he going to commit? He does. And he's locked up the front right as well. And Icy, I thought, was potentially going to try to make that move then. But the Williams driver, Bartek Fraz, currently sits second in the championship and is really suffering here today. He is going to be losing points to Viper as well. So he actually might end up, well, he might end up dropping out of second in a couple of races' time if he gets a couple more of these results. Icy setting himself up very well to get the run all the way up this hill. And of course, Dirty Air, you really feel it. And that is Bartek Fraz. He touched the grass there and he has run wide. And now that's surely allowed Icy to be able to make this move. He's squeezing that door shut very slowly. And that is really good defending from the Williams driver, just to say, nope, you're not going there, but really not shutting the door, or not slamming the door in his face. It's more politely, or just politely not letting him leave, really. But now he has got the run, and Bartek Fraz has lost DRS Icy. As I said before, once Fraz loses DRS, it's going to be a really easy move, and it's made before we even get down to turn 1. So now let's see if Icy can challenge for this podium position. And actually, Fraz might end up losing P5 here because he's got that 3-second time penalty. I'll see if Marvin has a penalty. I'll quickly check that. Oh, okay, Marvin has a penalty, so that doesn't matter. Ignore that. So, yeah, Bartek Fraz looking a safe P for move, but I think he'll be wanting to get a little bit higher up, I'm sure. But I don't think he's got the grip. Don't think he's going to quite be able to do it. It's now 6 seconds between Key Mirror and Viper, so that gap has doubled in the last 10 laps or so. Or 10, 15 laps, actually. It's been a lot more than 10 laps. Yeah, so there's a good battle going on at the bottom half of the grid here. You've got Clenzo, Fons. Clenzo, of course, on those medium tyres, and they don't seem to be... So Fons and Clenzo battling, and that's Fons out breaking himself a little bit. I've got the engine noise glitch there, so I'll hop off board with him, because that was not a lovely sound. Still go on board with K-Bar at the back. So these guys have been going at it for a little bit. There's still a train between, Ansmaz gets past MER7 Barca as well, but I think K-Var's going to be able to get past Fons here going down into turn 1. He's got the run, he's got the outside, he's been forced to the outside line here. Let's see what happens, because it's a hard line, and Fons loses a position, but is he going to get the cutback? No. K-Var, I think, went a little bit off track there to get the move done, but I'm not sure what the situation is with that. So Ansmaz and MER7 Barca still going at it. They were side by side as we joined him there, and Ansmaz gets the position on the Ferrari driver. Yeah, I think he was ahead, I think, so I'm not sure if that was defending or actually getting that position. I'm not too sure. But yeah, of course you have Raisin as well behind them. Free race scrap for P8. The bottom 3 in the top 10, all going at it. So Bartek Fraz is again on the back of Icy, and Icy that wire in, because that keeps unplugging, and that is slightly annoying. But yeah, you have where was it? Well, anyway, Marvin is now right on the back. I don't know what was heard. So Marvin is now right on the back of Bartek Fraz and Icy. He's right on the back of this scrap as well, and Fraz picked up another 3-second time penalty, so he has lost out. I think to Marvin, Marvin might have 2 penalties, so I didn't quite get to the bottom, so I'm gonna look at that again. Okay, so as it stands, Marvin's gonna be getting position, but he's gonna get it anyway, because Bartek Fraz has got all sideways out of the final corner, and now it's allowed Marvin to make this move, potentially before turn 1. Yes, he has. He's going to be able to cut back to that inside line, I think, under braking. Oh, he hasn't actually, which is going to compromise his run through turn 1, but it doesn't matter anyway because Bartek Fraz is behind. And Amsbaz and MAR7 Bars are still going at it. I think something's happened to Raisin, I think. He's lost a little bit of time, at least to his teammate as well, so I'm not too sure what's happened to him. But now Marvin is going to try to apply some pressure to Icy and Vader out front. Those two, I think, are a little bit too far ahead for the moment. It's lap 32 out of 33, so there's not long left. If he is not within DRS, well, really, in a couple of quarters' time, he's not going to get this podium position. Well, he's not going to get a chance at it, at least. So it's between Icy and Vader for P3. We know P1 and P2. They're 6 seconds apart. We know which way that's going to finish. But we'll have to see between the McLaren and Racing Point. Ross picks up a 3-second time penalty down in 12th. Now, I don't think that's going to affect his race much. Clenzo's only 5.3 seconds behind him. Now 5.2, so he's closing in. I don't think it's going to matter anyway. So, Icy, one last go on Vader. He's close, only 3/10 at the start of the straight. He's going to be at least alongside by the end of this straight. He's going to try to take that inside line. He's not. He's going for the outside line. Potentially a little bit risky. And let's see, we hop on board with Vader through turn 1. There's contact between the two and it pushes out Icy out wide. And this allows Marvin now to potentially try to make this move on the McLaren driver coming up into turn 4 or turn 5 now. And there's a yellow flag out on track. Who's that for? I think that's for Clenzo. Clenzo's lost out and he's down in P15 now. And this is our final lap of the race. And Kimura is going to take a very, very decisive victory here to expand his championship lead over Bartek Fraz, who's now down in P6. So that's a real shame for the Williams driver. He's going to lose a lot of points to his championship rival. And Viper might potentially even jump him, depending on the points and how all the maths works out. But he was quite far behind coming into this round, so I'll be surprised if he does jump him, but it could be very close between them. And Kimura has crossed the line. We'll see Viper cross the line as well, taking up a really well-deserved P2. Now it's Vader, Icy. Then you also have Marvin and Bartek Fraz at the back of this four-way battle that's been going on for most of the race, really, between at least the three of them, and Fraz putting it in the wall to end the race. And that is Antoine. Oh, and Antoine's got past. So Bartek Fraz finishing down in P7 now. MAR7 Barca loses a couple of places to Ant Smaz, and I'm not even going to try that one again. Then you have Raisin in 11th, Ross in 12th place. 30th place, Kavar crosses line and overtakes Ross on penalties. And then you have Fons, who crosses the line. He is P14. Clenzo, really poor race for himself. He won't be happy with that. P15. P16 will be Most Ronin in the Mercedes. And yeah, I think he picked up the fastest lap of the race in the end. And he rounds off the grid as well. So a very busy race, lots to talk about, and we'll get a couple of the drivers' opinions on what went on in that race. So we'll bring you the podium ceremonies, and yeah, we'll also be talking to Fons as well, because it is his last race. It wasn't a fantastic race for himself, but I think he could have got a lot worse. So, as the top three spray the champagne, 3 Brits on top of the grid, on top of that podium, celebrating really, really good finishes for themselves. So once this is done, we'll invite them all to the party and we will get their opinion on what went down in that race. So in the end, Vader taking P3 as well. We'll do a really quick rundown to see Kimura, Viper, Vader, Icy, Marvin, Antoine, Bartek Fraz finishing P7. I'm again not going to try that. 9th, Ansmaz, MAR7 Barca, P10, 11th, Raisin, Kavar, Ross, Fons, Clenzo, Ronin, and ERL Undead at the back of the grid as well. So we'll just quickly invite the top 3 to the party. If I could do that before the thingy goes, and Vader as well. Okay, so yep. Yep, Fons as well. Okay, so Marvin, I've invited him. I have Fonz, so I'll invite Fonz as well. Actually, if you could do these ones, it'd probably be easy, I think. I can get Fonz though. Where's he? Right, so a couple of guys are joining the party, so we'll get all this sorted.
Yo.
Hello, everybody. Right, so to see if everybody joins. Well, I suppose we could start with P3 right now anyway, with Vader. So while we're waiting for, I think it was Viper to join, if he is. So obviously really, oh yeah, okay, so we have Marvin as well. So Vader, really close battle for most of that race, or at least the second half of the race, fighting for that P3. What did you think of that battle? Was it really enjoyable?
It was. I'm just glad that my setup allowed me to pull it down the straights because I saw those guys had pretty much no straight down speed. So I was just grateful for that one. And yeah, kept me on my toes.
Yeah, no, obviously, and some pretty good defensive moves in there as well, to be fair.
There was. I saw, I think, on the last lap, I used to even throw a bold move on the outside, but I think that was never going to really work. But really. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, no, really, and you had some really good pace as well. So well done on that P3. Thanks. So we've got a lot of people to get through. So I am gonna sort of do this relatively quickly because there's quite a few people in here now. We'll go on to Viper's still not in, is he? I don't think. No, he's not. So if it would just go to our race winner, Hero Key Mirror. Actually, Viper's joined. So okay, no, we'll go. If he's talking, hello.
Hello.
All right, hello. So obviously, really good race for yourself. Are you a little bit upset that you didn't get the win today, or do you think it just wasn't quite there?
Well, I could have challenged for the win if I didn't get held in the pits by Bartek, but
right.
Other than that, I got no chance.
Yeah, do you think you weren't you weren't helped too much by the traffic, Clenzo and Ross, when you were unlapping, when you were getting past them?
Yeah, Ross always helpful. He stayed out of the way, but Clenzo was he was there to fight essentially. So yeah. Gave
yeah. Do you think you had the pace in the end of the race to potentially mount threat, or was that really the best you could do? Any major mistakes, or was it just not quite there today?
No, by the end I just realised that there was no chance for me to get through or get up to where Mirror was, so I was just near enough cruising at that point.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Really good. Oh yeah, everyone, don't forget to do that. Yep, so obviously really good drive, and well done on P2. So that, given Bartek's finish, that's probably going to potentially put you up in second, depending on how close you were beforehand, so well done for that. And Kitamura extending your championship lead at the moment. You must be really happy with that.
Yep, it was a good race. A bit unfortunate for Viper to not be able to challenge after the pit stops with the traffic, but I just felt that it was a good race in general.
Yeah, no, you had some really good pace. Do you think early on in the race, potentially the win wasn't there? Just you think maybe you're not going to get past. Maybe there's a chance of that.
Well, towards the beginning, I was just staying behind and using the DRS and slipstream, trying to save my tyres because I
saw you had a lot of DRS
doing
so.
2 laps.
Yeah.
Quali was a bit of a mess for all of us, I'd say.
Yeah.
We were like half a second down on what we were doing in practice.
Yeah, difficult track to get right sometimes, especially in qualifying. If you don't ace your lap, you're going to lose a lot of time as well. So that's so I think that's near enough covered the top 3. So who are we moving on to now? There's quite a few people in here. Are we talking to Ants Maz this race? Is that a thing we're doing?
Yo.
Hello. Well, yes, include audio.
Yeah, it's in.
All right. So
Mhm.
being truthful, I can't quite remember where you finished today. It was in the lower half of the top 10, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I
I just didn't
remember
have the
enough then.
race pace, yeah. And I got a penalty, yeah. Finished P9, but like due to penalties I dropped positions.
Mm.
But I had an insane battle though with Barca in the race. It was so enjoyable.
I saw you guys
And
were
the
quite
issue
close on
was
that.
I came in so yeah, I had an issue. I was so prepared for the race. I just made a setup on the line in quali and like just risked it all because I should be more prepared, but I don't know. Practicing is just quite annoying. I just don't like practicing.
Fair enough. Um, I don't think many people enjoy it too much, but yeah. Yeah. Anyway, well done with your race.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think you did get points near, and you did, didn't you? I think.
Yeah, P9, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll do then. So we'll move on to